We have the form. Yeah, that's not Zach, right?
Yeah, Zach Marshke. He's our
Yours, Zach.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. If everybody would please stand for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Layton.
Here.
Commissioner Cartwright. Absent. Commissioner Irons.
Here.
Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Connell is excused. Commissioner Ten Eyck.
Here.
And Chair Barisi has indicated he'll be just out. Chair Barisi is walking in the door. So you do have a quorum.
Sorry.
We're on agenda item 4.
Okay.
Approval of the minutes.
All right. Thank you.
Sam started and just moved right along.
Very much. Apologize for the tardiness. Okay, so approval of minutes. Did everyone get a chance to read the minutes? Any issues with the minutes from last meeting, which was the November 20th?
Oh, you know what? I actually had one question. I thought I printed them. I must not have.
I think the question you asked me the other day is the chair.
The very, like, right at the beginning, it says Chair Irons. Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
start the meeting or did Zach start the meeting?
Zach did.
I'm pretty sure I did.
I think Zach did.
So I think it should actually, and sorry I didn't say anything to you because I asked her and you weren't there, and so let's make that, we'll make that change and then we'll get Zach to sign the minute.
Okay. Yeah, good catch.
So I will move to approve the minutes with the amended name change.
A second.
All right, so motion and a second to approve minutes with change to item number 1 with the as called out for amendment. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. And I believe that's all. Was that all the commissioners present?
Yeah, right. I think Zach voted to approve the minutes. That's okay.
I did. Sorry.
Hey, we appreciate your vote.
Just recruiting to be on the planning commission.
Yeah.
Active audience.
Hired.
All right. So that passes unanimously. And moving on to public hearings, we have the one and then the one continued, correct? Is those the only ones?
Yes, those are the only ones. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we are looking at site design review, the RVW 25-53, I believe. Okay. I will call the public meeting to order. So this is going to be site design review, RVW 25-53 for Fisher Construction as the applicant, Lamb Weston as the owner. Property is described as tax lot 1300 of Assessors Map 4 North 25 East 10 and is zoned general industrial. Requests for a building addition and remodel of existing building. Criteria for approval are found in the Boardman Development Code, Chapter 4.2, Development Review and Site Design Review, with the standards in 4.2.500 Site Design Review, application submission requirements, and 4.2.600 Site Design Review approval criteria. Also applicable is Chapter 2.3, General Industrial and Provisions in Chapter 3. It is being processed as a Type 3 decision. So the public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. We'll begin with staff report. We'll move to public testimony in the following order: the applicant, any testimony in support of the application, any testimony opposing the application, any neutral testimony, and then any rebuttal if one is warranted. At that time, we'll close the public testimony. After the record is closed for testimony, no other testimony will be heard unless the Planning Commission has a specific question. Planning Commission may ask questions of staff, after which the Planning Commission will discuss the matter and make a decision. The Planning Commission may make a final decision tonight, or the matter may be continued to a date, time, and place certain in the future. If the matter is continued, this will be the only notice of that time, date, and place you will receive. For testimony, if you wish to speak, please fill out a testimony form and submit it to the planner. I will recognize those people who wish to speak. Any questions should be addressed through me. Please state both your name and address for the record, and speak into the microphone, please, as we're being recorded on Zoom. Please keep testimony concise and to the point. Testimony should be on the action under consideration and address the substantive criteria only. The criteria that apply to the decision are listed in the staff report. Testimony and other issues will be rejected and not considered by the Planning Commission. Failure to raise an issue in sufficient detail to allow the Planning Commission and the parties the ability to respond to the issues prohibits an appeal to LUBA or the Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. Similarly, failure to raise a constitutional or other issues regarding any conditions of approval in sufficient detail to allow the Planning Commission to respond to the issue prohibits a lawsuit in circuit court on that basis. I'd like to ask any of the Planning Commission members to disclose any ex parte contacts, bias, or conflicts of interest. Please indicate the nature and extent of ex parte contact, bias, or conflict of interest, and indicate whether you intend to participate in or abstain from the hearing. Hearing none. Principal Planner Stephanie Case will now present the staff report.
So the request in front of you tonight is to construct 2 building additions and related site improvements at the existing industrial facility that we all know as Lamb Washington and West Plant.
Thank you. Of note, this particular application in front of you it's very, very similar to an application that was approved a couple of years ago that has since expired. It's come back in front of us. The address here is 600 Columbia Avenue Northeast. So I'm sure you've all looked through your staff report and the preliminary findings of fact. Of note here would be that lot coverage is already exceeded in this case. The proposed impervious areas for the buildings is at 89% over the required 75%. But given that this building's been in place for and related associated structures for over 50 years, staff don't see a problem with that. It does change a little bit for some of the landscaping requirements that you saw in there. Because of that, there are limitations for the landscaping requirements. And while it does not meet the standard planning, staff would again find it consistent with the previous requirements. They are not going to change the parking of it. They are going to restripe it, which would probably make for a more efficient parking area. And then, of course, these building additions themselves will add to the building size. One thing that planning staff would recommend, and it is listed as a condition of approval, is that Lamb Weston enter into a remonstrance agreement with the city of Boardman to participate in future improvements, particularly on your page 7 of the packet, page 2 of this staff report. Olson Road has been identified as a need for the city, and while there has not been a specific project there, there would be any development along Eldridge would push traffic onto Olson, and then that would need to have a widening and some surface improvements at some point. Page 3 lists out the 3 conditions of approval. The recommendation would be to approve this request with those conditions of approval, including the remonstrance agreement that I just mentioned. Dedicating a 10-foot right-of-way along Olson Road to accommodate future road widening and public improvements, and installing a sidewalk improvement along Columbia Avenue. And then along with this would be the the vicinity map, and then the applicant provided building additions, which include the remodeling of their Friar L4 building. And then the two areas indicated in orange are their ingredient storage building and their other new building support addition. And I think overall the total addition square footage is somewhere just under 20,000. I think about 17 to 18,000 square feet. And that would be it, unless you have any questions for me.
I would add one item. We have identified in working with this applicant, and it's just generally a needed action. Starting at about where Olson is and going east, Columbia Boulevard or Avenues right away is significantly more than we need. And the city has agreed, we talked about this as part of the site team meeting, that we're going to engage, while they're doing construction, we're going to engage in a road vacation process, which does not come before the planning commission. It is a city council action. But we will be doing a vacation of that portion of Columbia, and not just in front of there. We're going to go ahead and do all that we need to do. And it will grant land back to Lamb Weston in that instance. It kind of offsets the 10 feet on Columbia or on Olson. So anyway, it's not a part of this because it's not something we have to condition them to do. It's something we will be doing as staff. And then again, not a planning commission decision, a council decision. But I wanted you to be aware of that because it is an action that is adjacent to, but not a part
Indirectly related, sure. Is the square footage of that land given back, would that be covered under what would be calculated for lot coverage? So I'm wondering if the 89% calculation, would that be reduced because of this?
Yes,
It will be.
I mean, it would improve
Whatever that amount is.
It would
Yeah.
improve that lot coverage.
Okay, yeah.
From our perspective, it would improve that lot coverage.
Yep.
Percentage.
Second question, did we not have a variance for the lot coverage for Lamb Weston come before us? Am I thinking of something else?
I don't recall that being a part of the
Okay.
previous decision. Yeah, I think how we looked at it last time. So a previous planner who's no longer with us wrote the staff report the last time. There was a lot of analysis in it, and we stripped a lot of that analysis out and just kind of provided the conclusions. But I don't recall there being a.
Maybe it was just part of a conversation. I don't really remember that well, honestly.
Yeah.
Just like tickling my brain right now.
Well, and it might have been, and I'm not sure that a variance would cover the amount of overage, at least as presented here. I don't know. We'd have to do some calculations after the road vacation to see if that would balance.
Okay.
But I'm not sure a variance would be enough to cover the difference here, because
Yeah.
usually you get 10%. So I didn't calculate that, but
Yeah.
Okay. But this city, like you're good with the current lot coverage by the
You know,
plan.
the reality is this plant was built 50 years ago. The city, if the city had a development code, it was pretty minimal, and it may not have even had a development code. So we can't really say, oh my, you have to figure out how to have a 70. I mean, it could be an impossibility for them to comply with the code as it's written today.
Yeah.
But with Carla bringing that up, so if you look at the page 9 of your packet where the vicinity map is, so the blue area is their property, and you notice how far north that right of way is. So that will come down a line more closely with Columbia Avenue northeast to the west of it. It will also help their building setback from that right of way at the front.
Right.
So not really applicable to this action because their improvements there would not be any further out necessarily, but it does help that frontage at least.
Right. Okay.
And they're granting 10 feet on Olson, and we're going to be giving more than 10 feet along Columbia. So they will be land ahead.
Okay. Perfect.
And again, you can kind of see on this map, again, just to delineate, we're starting at Olson and going east. And as you look to the eastern edge of this map, you can see some differences there, but a lot of those properties are going to benefit on both the north and the south side of Columbia. Again, only adjacent to this decision, but I wanted to share that with you.
Mhm.
On North Olson, is there not already a 10-foot right of way?
On North Olson. So on North Olson.
On that west side of the property? I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure that there's a fence on that, the west side of the property. That's
Yeah. there's a
already,
fence there.
is there?
I just know that
Yeah,
the,
that's for
I
sure.
just know that the part of Olson there, that right away for Olson is only 40 and we need to get to 60. Yeah. I'm not sure Olson on the other side is actually a full 60-foot either, so. Yeah. Yep. I just don't have all those maps memorized. But for local roads with the new public works standards, that local road width is 60 feet, and then neighborhood collectors I think are 60 as well. And then when you get to the arterials, you're to 70 to 80 feet. So,
All right. Thank you both, by the way. Is there any additional correspondence that we have? Received none? Okay. Okay, we will move on to public testimony. Is the applicant here? Would you like to speak? All right, please step to the microphone. State your name and address for the record, please. Oh yeah, check if it's on.
Probably okay. Yeah. Can you hear me okay? There we go. Thank you. Okay, very good.
Yep.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman. Brian Jackson with Lamb Weston, Kennewick, Washington, business address. I'll share a little bit about the project. I appreciate you guys taking the time to review this. Been a few years. Was here about 2 years ago, I believe. Project itself, as you heard, was started, paused for various business reasons. We through that time we curtailed line 4, which is what this project is going to do some work on to improve that line. We had roughly 90 plus team members that were displaced to other South Basin facilities at the time. We were happy not to have to lay anybody off. This project we're excited about. It's going to hire another 97 plus hourly folks. It's going to a handful of salaried folks. So we're excited to bring back more people to the South Basin here, particularly here in Boardman. So it's a big opportunity for us to help the plant, the people, and the community around us. So our goal here is to provide a project that is seamless during construction. There's no impacts, adverse impacts to traffic, to noise, to dust pollution, any of that. I think we've had good collaboration through this planning process to ensure we're complying with all that. We have taken recommendations through the planning process that we're going to incorporate in this project. Ultimately, this is roughly going to be about a year-long project. We expect to start construction and demolition here after the first of the year. Be roughly 12 months until this is completely built, and we have people started to be hired from a plan perspective here in the spring. And by November, December of this coming year, we expect to be testing and start up our plant. So should be a fairly seamless process. It's a little bit condensed scope than we had before, roughly 2/3 from a dollar value perspective and square footage impact. So I could probably talk for another hour or two on what we have here, but I think you have most of the highlights. So I'll just end with thank you for your time to review this, and we look forward to any questions anybody might have.
Yeah, thank you. A couple of quick questions.
Sure.
We're not closing the roads for this part, are we?
We are not.
All right, okay. And I was just looking at the drawing. Is there, and I don't have anything to do with anything. Are you revamping the parking lot? Is that what I'm looking at here? Is there going to be like a change to the parking lot?
Yeah, so the parking lot will be resurfaced.
Okay.
And then we will do another striping plan to ensure we have adequate parking spaces for the additional team members that we're hiring.
Gotcha. Yeah.
We're
No,
also
I didn't look different.
incorporating some improvements to the fire lane as we worked with the fire department to make sure that we had good access around the building for the fire lane, as well as the striping through the parking lot.
No, I see that.
Yeah.
Nice. That was all the questions I had. Does anyone else have any questions?
I would add, based on your question, that when they staged for the last project, they put in a temporary sidewalk across Columbia
Yeah.
because there's some contractor parking and staging on the other side. We will be seeing that again. So
Okay,
I was gonna ask
so
about that.
ad hoc
right,
pedestrian crossing if needed.
there will
okay.
be a temporary
Right.
pedestrian crossing to support the.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
And we've been coordinating that between planning and public works.
Okay.
So, yeah.
The other thing I'll say, this is Zach Marshke with Fisher. I'm the architect running the project from Fisher's perspective. The one thing I'll say is we are planning on submitting this as kind of three separate building permit packages. So the first building permit package, if you look at the site plan, was for that ingredient storage building addition. We have received approval from the building department already that has been approved. We understand that we cannot start forward with construction until we obviously go through this planning approval process as well. We are planning on submitting kind of a two more additional building permits. One's for that Friar TI. That's the existing building, but we're just going to be doing a tenant improvement to make sure that that space is adequate for the new Friar that's going to be installed, as well as the appropriate utilities that are required to support that system. So we are planning on submitting that here before the end of the year. I think we're shooting for a 12/30 permit date. And then we are going to be doing the last kind of building addition as a separate building permit. And that's going to be coming, that's that support building you might see on the site plan. That's going to be coming around the end of January. So that's our current schedule, but we certainly understand, planning has to be a big part of this, as well as getting those approvals necessary to move forward with construction as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks, Zach.
Yep.
From one side to another. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, and
Is it-
I apologize. My apologies too. I would have been there in person today, but I got the flu this week, so just supporting it any way I can. My team. So
yeah. We appreciate you not coming in.
yeah, I figured you guys might.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions for applicant?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you both very much. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it.
it. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of the application? Okay. Is there any neutral testimony? I think you're the only other one in the audience. That's why I'm looking at you.
He's with them too. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
that's Jared. He's our project manager with
Okay,
Fisher.
probably not. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with no one speaking against the application, no neutral testimony, there's no rebuttal required. So at this time, I'm going to close the public hearing. Does staff need to respond to a question from the testimony? Is there anything you want to add in addition to the information that we already talked about? And we kind of ad hoc'd it all at once. Okay. Does planning commissions have questions for staff? No. Ragna? Any questions from you?
Nope.
Okay. Would be discussion time. If anyone has any discussion, I think everything looks pretty straightforward to me, if I'm being honest. Everything seems in order. Any issues seem to be addressed just fine.
I got one thing. I got one thing just to say from Fisher's perspective and for Lamb. I appreciate. I know Lamb does as well as Fisher. Like, we appreciate the city of Boardman being so willing to work with us on this, and we understand that we work in a lot of different jurisdictions, and some can be more challenging than others. We definitely appreciate the city of Boardman and your guys' willingness to work with us and be a positive team member on this project going forward. So thank you for that.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I think I will, at least I'll speak for myself anyway. I know, Lamb Weston has been a staple of this community for a long time, since I moved here in the 90s, contributing a lot to the labor force and the community. So, yeah, right back at you.
Yeah, thank you.
So if there's no discussion, I would entertain a motion to either approve as presented, or if anyone has any amendments, which I would prefer a discussion first, but I would entertain a motion at this time.
I move to approve as presented.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion seconded. Motion is to approve, make sure I'm saying this correctly, to approve the site design review, the RVW 25-53 as presented. Motion and second. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That is unanimous. Thank you for the votes.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate you.
I think we'll just have him appointed.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you live, Zach?
Over by Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah, technically Vancouver, Washington, but yeah.
Well, you're moving to Boardman soon, apparently. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Hey, if I can support you guys in any way, I'm happy to do so.
Okay. So we have a continued amendment.
Before you start that.
Yes.
You guys are welcome to hang out, but there is no expectation that you do. So it's up to you guys.
Yeah.
So.
I really appreciate your guys' time, by the way. I know it's a bit of a drive in the evening for Zach over there in Zoom land, but really appreciate you coming out.
No worries. Thank you all very much as well. Again, can echo what Zach said. Appreciate it. It's been a pleasure, continued pleasure for a long time working with y'all. So thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate your support.
Yep.
And Zach, get some rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And my apologies again for catching the flu on the 1 week that I'm supposed to be out there. So
Yeah. Don't let it happen again.
Thank you as well, Commissioner Ten. I appreciate it. And then you all have a nice and Christmas and holidays. And
Same to you. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.
Okay, so we are moving on with continued amendment LND 25-5. This is Unity Partners LLC as the applicant. This request to amend chapter 2.1 of the BDC, the Boardman Development Code, to update it to accommodate higher density residential development. The criteria for approval are found in BDC chapter 4.7. Which is the land use district map and text amendments for decision with final hearing before the city council. The conduct of the hearing will be the same as the previous hearing, which I will not repeat. I do ask, I would like to ask, hold on a second, let me find my place. If any planning commissioners wish to disclose any ex parte contacts, bias, or conflict of interest.
Should
If
be
so,
different. That script should be a little bit different.
do we not need to disclose?
It's
that?
only the conflict. It's not the bias or the ex parte.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone wish to disclose any conflict of interest?
Since this has to do with mobile home parks or RV parks.
Your zoning is not manufactured home park zoning, so it wouldn't affect your
Right,
property.
this is different than, right, yeah. Okay, so you are staying?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And does anyone want to challenge that for any reason? Okay, neither do I. Okay, staff report. Carla.
It's going to be real short. We haven't moved forward very far forward on the staff side with this. I did take 12 days and go to Texas for Thanksgiving, and I just chose to vacation and not work. And so we just haven't got there yet. What I can tell you is that we are going to have to renotice this to the Department of Land Conservation Development, because as I shared last month, we had informal comment from them, from their housing team. And as the request was put forward, it just doesn't really fit kind of the boxes that are out there for how residential development is supposed to be regulated. And so we've had a lot of conversation. I shouldn't say nothing has been happening. I've been talking with Sean Edging, who is the DLCD housing specialist that we're working with. Don Hurt has been, who is our regional rep, has been involved with those emails. He kind of provided us a path. I want to, this will not be a complete rework of our residential use zone, but it will be significant changes to our residential use zone. I am trying to thread a needle with the changes that we're going to propose versus how we would be required to do notice. So in the world of planning, there's this thing called ballot measure 56. And this was a ballot measure that passed, oh gosh, I don't know. I remember when it passed. So it's been in the last 25 years, but it's probably been closer to 25 than not that ballot measure 56 passed. And what ballot measure 56 says is that if you're going to restrict the uses on my property, you have to provide notice to me. Because normally in a legislative amendment process, if we make a change to the text and we don't further restrict the uses, we don't have to provide individual notice. We just have to provide general notice of the action. And so I'm going to try to make sure that we're not further limiting, but that we're actually adding uses and adding opportunity. And in the end, that really is what the state has been moving forward with the requirements to cite duplexes as though it were a single family dwelling, the requirement to allow the siting of ADUs. Those are all additional opportunities. So we're not further restricting the property, we're actually adding allowances. So in the world of notice, that would still be under the umbrella of notice for a legislative change that would not trigger ballot measure 56 and require us to send specific notice to every property owner. There will come a point in time in all of the projects that we're working on, when we get to the development code amendments, we will probably be noticing every property owner in Boardman. But if we can get through this one and not have to do that yet, it's a pretty significant process and honestly cost to do that. And I know I'm going to have to do it. I'd like to try to figure out how to thread this needle. So Sean and I have had some emails about if you focus in this way, you in these changes, you move forward, but you wouldn't trigger ballot measure 56. So that's what we're working on. So between now and January 15th, we will amend our notice to DLCD. We will have to amend our published notice. And because we hadn't had this hearing yet, we've already noticed the January hearing. So we will have to do a supplementary notice in the EO for that hearing on the 15th. But because we've already noticed once, we've met our primary notice requirements. So there's just a lot of boxes to check, procedural boxes to check as we go through this. My hope is to have a red line of that residential use zone to you more than a week prior to the January meeting. So the meeting is on the 15th, which means we would normally send notice 7 days prior to that, which would be the 8th. So my hope is to send something out to you prior to the 8th to give you just a little more time, because it's going to be a lot to consume. And I guess you don't have to listen to any of this because you're not going to be here. Are you missing it? Are you going to be sad you won't be here? Okay, you can come. So for all of these reasons and more, I am simply going to ask you to, as the sample motion says, to simply continue this amendment to the January 15th, 2026 Planning Commission hearing at 6 p.m. here at Boardman City Hall. I'm happy to answer any questions you have at this point in time. I just don't know that I can answer questions on the details yet. I'll be working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions.
Go ahead. Oh, I believe the original posting, the staff report has changed
Oh,
to current, what we're doing tonight. Is,
I don't, if Areli just pulled everything over, there shouldn't be anything different than the last hearing. So maybe we need to go in and double check and see what was posted.
well, so I just checked and it's changed from when it originally was posted.
Oh,
But is that due to this process?
oh, we haven't made any changes to the documents, so we'll have to go in and look at that, but we will do that tomorrow and because it should be whatever the staff report posted for this agenda item tonight should be the same staff report as last time. So if it's not, then I didn't make any changes to it, so.
Talking about staff report?
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll take a look at that. Thank you, Sam. Because it should be the same. I wanted to make changes. I wanted to have something new up there, and if nothing else, a memo. I just haven't had a chance to do that yet.
No, you're fine.
Yep.
Dave, what did you have?
I was just wondering if this was the first thing that spurred this conversation, or were there other things that?
So this was the applicant, Unity Partners owns property on the north side of Columbia between Port View Apartments in Maine. And they want to do a particular type of development that our code just doesn't allow. It just would be very difficult to get to where they think they want to be. I don't know that the changes that we can even make are really gonna get them to where they want to be. But we're gonna try. And you know, again, we're trying to thread needles to figure out how to be more flexible in how residential development can happen. I mean, our code is pretty restrictive in a lot of ways. And we're just trying to figure that out. The state has made a lot of changes to statute. The Department of Land Conservation and Development has been working diligently at rulemaking to implement that statute. But when I get to my planning official update, I'll speak more to this. But we are tomorrow working to kick off our housing capacity analysis process, which I won't get into much more in this conversation. I'll reserve that. But we've been wanting to do a housing needs analysis for over a year, and we've been held in this pattern because they were changing the name and they were writing new rules. And while the statute was passed 2 years ago, we actually don't even have rules yet. The rules will be effective on January 1. So the department is doing their best to stay kind of up with statute, but they pass statute and it takes time to write the rule. And you have the way regulations for this agency and for many agencies in Oregon, you really can't implement the statute until you have the rule, which makes it frustrating because sometimes you're waiting several years before you can act on something. So we've been waiting for the rule, but we do have a draft code and that's what we're drawing from. And so I'll be importing that portions of that draft, that model code into our code, probably doing significant replacements in there. And the things that we'll be incorporating are things because we're now over a population, and for some of these things, actually at 2,500, we should have been making these changes. For others at 5,000. But we'll be adding things like ADUs, cottage clusters. We'll be addressing you have to treat a duplex like a single family dwelling. And there's a couple of other things. We'll be addressing all of those things. Those will help. I don't know that they will fully get to where the particular developer wants. And for that purpose, we may also be incorporating much clearer manufactured home park and manufactured home subdivision standards into the residential zone as well. So it's a lot of work. I'm going to try to get as much of it as it done for January. Very likely we will run the first draft and we will go back and we'll do a second draft and come back in February. And maybe in February, I'll be able to say, if you're good with it, I'm good with it. Let's send it to the council. We do have comment from both the fire chief and the police chief around density issues. And as much as I respect them and understand their concerns, I have to balance that when I make my recommendation, not only to you, but to the city council about where the state is at relative to how housing, we have a housing crisis and how are we going to address that? And the issue around 8,000 square foot lots is going to continue to be problematic if we don't figure a way to address it. So I respect their comment. I understand their concerns. I just have to figure out how to present a recommendation that does my best to balance that with where the state wants us to get.
And I'd like to clarify, when I originally read the posting for this meeting, I believe I took the old preliminary findings
Okay,
and thought they were for tonight, so,
okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
but same. We're good.
Yeah,
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
okay.
So again, I'm just looking for the hearing to be continued. And again, if you have any questions tonight, I'll do my best to answer them. I will certainly have more next time.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything you want to discuss? Or we continue this till next month? There's really nothing to
But I
this,
move
but,
we can either,
okay.
for the,
I'll second.
Okay, so just to be clear, the motion is to continue the amendment
Amendment,
LND
yeah.
25-5 to the January 15th Planning Commission hearing at 6 o'clock here at City Hall.
yes.
That has been motioned and seconded, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is majority vote, or not majority, that is
Motion passed.
motion passes. Okay,
So, you ready for my planning official update?
planning update.
Jennifer, will you join me down here? Stephanie, do you have your phone? If Jamie were here, I would be doing this to her as well. Jennifer, I want to thank you for your 5 years of service. Your husband, wow, so congratulations. Thank you.
Dang, 5 years, really?
Hey, guys, I know.
Yeah, I went back
Wow.
and found the date and yeah, right at 5, just about 5 years. You were appointed in a November time. You must have filled a position.
I did. I did.
And so, yep, it was a November appointment and
I learned a lot. It's been fun.
yeah, good. I'm glad. I'm glad.
It's been a good ride. We're gonna miss you. Yeah,
I might be back, but right now I have other things that I have.
yeah.
We all go
As
through
it
those
goes, yeah.
times. So I have a certificate for Jamie as well. We will mail that to her. So as always, I have provided you my monthly update that went to the council earlier this month for their December meeting. Lots going on. I'll just kind of hit some highlights here as I work through this. Jonathan Tallman has appealed the transportation system plan adoption. We believe prematurely because it's not yet been co-adopted by the county, but we're working through those issues and we'll just deal with them as they come. The Parks Master Plan you guys reviewed last month. It'll go in front of the council and the Park District on January 13th. The economic opportunities analysis will be in front of you all in January. We have 3 items, I think, now on the agenda for January. What we just continued, the EOA, and 1 action item for consideration. And we already have an application that will be on the February agenda as an action item. As I was mentioning a little bit ago, we are finally off what we originally were calling our housing needs analysis. Through the rulemaking, that has changed, is now called a housing capacity analysis. We have hired MIG and Johnson Economics is the sub to that. That is just the opposite of the team that we had for the EOA. For the EOA, Johnson was the lead and MIG was the sub. Jamie was the planning commissioner who volunteered to sit on the PAC for the HCA. And since she has departed, there's a vacancy. But before we talk about that in specifics, let me share that the council did in January appoint. So Jennifer and Jamie and Mike's positions were all up. And Mike asked to be reappointed. Jamie and Jennifer both chose to depart us. So at the council meeting, Mike was reappointed, so he will serve for another 3 years. The two new planning commissioners, Rod Taylor, who works over here at Ace Hardware, had applied. I'm not going to get these names right. Jolene Stensland. And then Jones, what's her name? Carol Jones, I think. And then Natasha Rockwell. They reappointed Mike. There was a motion to appoint Rod, which failed. And my recommendation was to appoint Mike, and my recommendation was to appoint Rod. Rod served 12 years, and I worked with him most of those 12 years. He served on the County Planning Commission. He understands his role. He gets it. He gets the planning process. And so I had recommended for Rod to be appointed. Rod does live outside the city limits in the zip code. We have historically had at least 2 people serve in that way. One was Jacob Kane and the other one was Glea Baker. What's interesting is they both served long terms and both served as chair. And so I think there's a really strong reason there to really consider the benefit of that voice that comes from outside the city limits. But again, the motion was made to appoint Rod, it was seconded, and then it failed. They looked at the other 3 candidates. Jolene was in the room. They moved to appoint her, and she was approved. Stensland? And I was surprised because then there was a motion again to appoint Rod and a second. And there were, and Councilor Rockwell had recused himself because his wife was an applicant. And so the vote happened and it got to the mayor, and at the mayor, it was either if he voted no, it would fail. And if he voted yes, it would be approved. And I think I said before the meeting started, there was a very long pregnant pause as we waited for the mayor to contemplate the outcome of his vote, and he eventually voted yes. And so Mike will be back with us, and in 1 or 2 of these seats. Oh, we need to order nameplates. We will have Mr. Rod Taylor and Ms. Jolene Stensland joining us in January. So I'm excited for that. I think Jolene indicated in her letter of interest that she had previously served on this planning commission.
Oh, really?
I don't have records that go back far enough to confirm that, but she would have no reason to say that if she hadn't. So, yeah, we'll have at least two folks who have Rod more recent kind of experience and her with experience that goes back a ways, but nonetheless, both are long-term residents of the area. And I think both very invested in their community. So I'm looking forward to continuing the work we've been doing, and I think there will be very good additions to this body. Now, going back to the HCA and the PAC, with Jamie having departed us, I'd actually tagged Mr. Taylor to potentially sit on the PAC because he owns property in an area where there are several individuals who would like to see the UGB expanded too. So my thought is, as long as he is willing, and I will reach out and talk to him about this, but he'd already indicated a willingness to serve. Would you all be comfortable with him representing this body on the Housing Capacity Analysis Public Advisory Committee?
I mean, I speak for myself. I don't have any problems with Rod. I think most of us are probably familiar with him.
I don't think I know.
You know, Rod?
He works at Ace Hardware.
Yeah, he's a long-term farmer, him and his brother Joe Taylor, who Who,
Joe.
okay, so Rod is Joe's older brother. They look nothing alike. Their
As long as there's nothing
personalities.
Like, we're good to go. Then-
Yeah,
A lot of similarities, yeah.
yeah. I mean, they're two very different people, but they are also very much two brothers.
Yeah.
They farmed for years. Rod lived in
Longtime
Ione for a
advocates.
while and now he's back in the Boardman area. So, yeah.
Yeah, longtime advocates for the area.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
I think he would be good for it.
I have
yeah.
No complaints.
Okay, I'll reach out to Rod and just say, hey, we've taken you kind of with a double role there. So, great.
Start out running, hitting the ground running.
Yes, yes, yes. Other things going on, the development code and comprehensive plan is kind of in, pause, not fully in pause, but, with lots going on, we actually want to do pause it so that we can actually capture the work of the housing capacity analysis in the comp plan update and in the development code component. Lots of work happening with the Boardman Municipal Code. I think we have finally identified somebody to help us with that process, which is good. And so I think we'll see that ramp up starting maybe second, February-ish of 2026. And our hope is to finish that in 2026. Not a lot of homes, not a lot of permits coming through for homes. We're waiting for Chaparral to get their infrastructure in place, and I think we'll see ProMade Homes re-engage with home building. Are we seeing many permits, Areli, on the part of River Ridge?
No, kind of paused.
Kind of pause there as well, yeah. So there are some development permits kind of in the hopper. Again, we've got an action item for January, an action item for February. We're anticipating a multifamily development application in addition to those. Actually, there's a commercial app. I mean, there's just a variety of things that we're having conversations. We're going to continue to be busy here for a while. Yeah, happy to answer any questions on that front or any of those fronts, actually.
I don't have any questions on it yet. We haven't talked about it anyway.
Okay, and I don't think we have any public comment tonight.
No, we do not.
Gets us down to commission comments.
Mission comments. I would just like to echo Crow said, just say thanks. It's been fun
It has been fun.
so long, and thanks for all the fish, right?
I've actually had a lot of fun. I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I just have to focus on myself right now.
Yeah. 5 years is a long time. It takes a lot to serve in this capacity. It's not nothing. It's time and commitment. So anyway, I just want to say thanks
Problem.
for being a part of the gang. It's been a lot of fun.
I did that.
Well, there's appointments every year. There's appointments. I mean, it's a 3-year cycle and it keeps moving through. So, yep. When we can't find somebody, we'll call you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
Note that, Stephanie.
Did you say no cap?
What was that?
What did you say?
I said, Steph, note that.
Oh, note that.
Note that.
I thought you said no cap. I was like, that sounds something my teenagers would say. Yeah, she's down with the kids. Yeah.
I don't even know what no cap means. So
Yeah. Don't ask me. I don't know either.
it probably means something like in the rapper community or something. So yeah.
I don't know.
Color me old.
Yeah. You and me both. No, I don't have anything else. Any other comments? No. Ragna? In Zoomland?
No, I don't have
Okay.
anything.
All right. Well, then we will adjourn at 6:54.